Hi guys, I'm Katie Room from Periapsispress.com, where I review indie sci-fi and fantasy. Welcome back to our book club. Today we have Patrick from Cave to the Cross and Jonathan Shuerger, author of Shades of Black, among other things that are more recent than Shades of Black.
I like to call my genre Cozy Massacre.
What's the one that you're currently releasing? The lit RPG.
I'm working on 3. Oh, the lit RPG. Devil Dog.
Devil's Dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens if a Marine went to hell and he wasn't supposed to be there?
We're going to be talking about Tales Before Tolkien. We've done the introduction. Today we'll be talking about the first story, which is The Elves by Ludwig Tieck.
Elf Fight Club. You're not going to be able to not convince me this wasn't Elf Fight Club.
Just real quick, I'll read. It's like this long. So this was edited by Douglas Anderson, and he's got little blips about why he chose the things he did. In his famous essay on fairy stories, Tolkien wrote that fairy is a perilous land, and in it are pitfalls for the unwary and dungeons for the overbold. Ludwig Tieck's story of the young girl Mary and her encounter with the elves is one of the very best stories of the German Kunstmärchen, or literary fairy tales. Here, the otherworldly and perilous nature of fairy that Tolkien later described is very evident. The Elves was first published, blah, blah, blah. In the romantic era of romanticism. Yeah. That's when it was published.
Blah, blah, blah.
I think based on this, you get a pretty clear idea of what to expect from this story.
Well, it's German.
It's German,
so it's going to be happy. Something bad will happen to kids.
It's fairy tales. It's German. You're lucky if any of us survive.
Yes.
Just the men do.
Well, women and children first. Am I right?
I'll do a brief summary. If you guys have stuff that you want to talk about, interrupt me.
Oh, do I?
So the father, whose name is Martin, and the mother, whose name is Brigida, and Andres, who's the neighbor's kid, and Mary are the main characters. The initial characters, I should say.
Right. Yeah.
They live in a land that's sort of strangely blessed. It's ruled by a count in a local castle, and they are like landed gentry, sort of. They've got
they're
sort of renting land from the count, but they have people working for them in their fields. They're like
management.
Yeah. They're not like farmers or serfs or anything like that. They're a little bit farther up the class ladder. The parents go to work, leaving the kids to play. On their
It's a different time.
On their way, they discuss the local land and how beautiful it is and how abundant it is, with the exception of a fur ground where things are ugly.
Let me just say, the guy that wrote this clearly DM'd D&D. Okay, this is a wondrous land except for that shadowy area over there that you're not ever supposed to go near for various and sundry reasons, of which we will not be getting into.
It's so good. The dingy fir trees with smoky huts behind them, the ruined stalls, the brooks flowing past with a sluggish melancholy.
Yes.
Put me right in the mood for Michigan fall right there.
Yes. My party would have been like, we want to go there immediately.
If you go near it, it makes you feel sad. I like that element. It's like,
oh, a Marine Corps base. Okay, I got that in my head now.
But I like how it's just blamed as like, the gypsies.
Yeah, like immediate racism. Which, I mean,
not from Germany.
To them was either Italians or Jews. Okay, which is what it was back then. Yeah, that was fun. You know why the brooks are so slow around here? The Jews. Candace Von Owens over here telling people about the gypsies.
But like, they don't always call them gypsies. They call them like vagabonds. They call them all kinds of things that aren't.
Rogues.
Yeah. And the wife points out that they don't really know any of that.
Yeah,
Because
they
nobody's
never
ever
say
talks
like,
to
"Oh, we
them.
see them." It's just like shadows and maybe even shadows. It's not even that corporeal to them.
We don't know, but we know.
There were like ugly old women with dirty kids described pretty clearly.
The worst. Probably homeschooled.
You know who else hated homeschooling?
She also notes they don't go to church. So obviously, that's where we end up. Andres proposes a race by 2 different roads because he keeps losing. Because
he's less active, which is a great way to describe fat kid.
I think because the roads are supposed to be pretty equal, but I think Mary decides to cheat by cutting through the foreground. Is that understanding
I
that
didn't
correctly?
get it quite as cheating. I thought it was more strategy. I just assumed he was also doing his own strategy. You know,
they're children. But that wasn't the way that she was intended.
She told him one thing.
Yes.
And then improvised.
Yeah. She, like, as she's debating with herself about whether or not she should do it, she says, like, I'm just going to go for it. They can't eat me in a minute.
Right. This dog probably won't get me in half a minute. Yeah.
She stumbles right into Faerie, where everything is wonderful and wondrous.
Weird. There's for a German story
of descriptions.
Well, that's how you know it's fantasy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh no, gingerbread house, run for it.
This is like the romantics, though, right? Like, nature has like a spiritual element. Not that kind of romantic.
Makes you feel something. I know that's hard for you.
Yeah.
She makes a friend, Zarina, who appears to be a child like her, a beautiful child.
Yes, but they also immediately put a timer on her.
They do.
Like, pretty quickly. It's like, hey, you can't stay for long, but we can have fun while you do. But you can't stay for long.
Yeah.
It's like 2 different ones of them said that.
Things that happen, they make flowers grow in an instant. They ride on trees as they grow up into the sky. That scares Mary a little, so they shrink them back down. They take her to see dwarves, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they were definitely enslaved. There was definitely some servitude happening there.
I liked the guy who was like, "What do you want?" Like,
why are you here? So the German autists are down here mining. Like, what do you want?
And then there's also some like fire sprites that Mary wants to play with, but she can't because she'll get burned. Yeah. Also enslaved, but happy, maybe.
No, but they're happy though.
They have a job.
Remember that line of reasoning? They're happier when they have work.
Kind of a quirky, fairy line, because the area is bigger on the inside. So Mary asks, how come we have to walk so far when outside the circuit's so narrow? And her friend says, I know not, but so it is.
She's just like,
that's the way it's just Faerie. Eventually, Mary has to go because their king is coming to stay for a while and she isn't allowed to see him. His coming will bless the land outside, but she also is warned that she can't tell anyone about the elves or about her experience.
Because specifically, they'll have to leave.
Yes, they do explain why right away. It's not some, unknown foreboding
Or
and warning.
doom.
Yeah.
Vague, unspecified doom.
There's no repudiation of like humanity. There's no like, well, you'll taint our goodness or anything like that. It's just like these are the rules, and
Yeah.
if you happen to catch the leprechaun, you get his gold. And well, why is that? Because those are the rules. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Germans
it's a matter
love
of
their
fact.
rules.
And throughout the whole thing, there's no one who's like morally like negative. There's no bad guy. There are people who do like the wrong thing, but it's not like through maliciousness. It's just, well, that that's something that humanity does. So it's a neat juxtaposition between the elves and humanity, because it's not we need to go over here and kill the beast. It's, well, I'm curious what this is, or my daughter's been missing for 7 years. Let's go figure out what the heck's going on. And that breaks the cycle there.
I think all they did was just say gypsies and shake their heads. Gypsies. Make some kind of warding
It's
gesture.
interesting to me that like they thought of these people in the fur grounds as being sort of, they kept to themselves, but they definitely had like a negative view of them.
Mm-hmm.
And a girl goes missing,
Yeah.
and nobody like goes there to try and
They probably
Yeah.
ate her. So I have a theory. I don't know if I should say it now or when we're done summarizing the story. I guess I'll go for it now.
go for it.
It's kind of humanity's misunderstanding of something transcendent. Like when she goes into the fairy realm, everything is so much better. Obviously, so much better. Everyone is prettier. Everyone is healthier. Everyone has more fun. The rules are different. The trees can grow whenever you want them to. And they even kind of explain some of the rules to her, where it's like, you know how you live in air? These things have to live in fire.
Mhm.
Okay, so you can't go in and play with them, and they can't come out with you. Okay, that like it's just not gonna. You just don't understand how it works here.
Mhm.
It's not like your world. Everything outside of this realm is described as dingy, kind of dark, kind of sad. But when humanity looks at this realm before crossing the barrier, they misunderstand it, and they immediately characterize it as something negative. And that's something that leads further on into the story too. When we get there, we'll see that theme kind of unraveling, is that humanity is not responding well to the proximity of the transcendent, which is kind of Jesus's experience with humanity as well. The Bible says when they looked at Christ, he was not someone that we would desire. But when he went on the Mount of Transfiguration, he was clearly something that would be desired, because he appeared totally differently. And I think that's kind of what this story is shooting for. It's kind of teaching us that, hey, you don't understand what's beyond your life, and you can mess it up. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll add more once we talk about the rest of the story.
Because
There
Mary
are
messes
parts-
it up.
But they're like how the elves keep people away when they have their watchmen who stand guard and wave their
Mhm.
fans, and the cold anxiety and inexplicable fear may fall on everyone that attempts to approach us. They're so covered because without it, now cold and rainy, which they cannot bear, and snow and wind, cold air never reaches down to us. Here is an everlasting spring and summer. Yet if these poor people were on top were not frequently relieved, they would certainly perish. So it's almost a byproduct of it. So I was kind of thinking like, well, it's not quite an urban legend, but this is probably how urban legends start, where it's like, oh, you don't go to the old house, and it's like, right, you don't go to the old house because it's an old house and it's going to kill you because you're going to step on.
Yeah, no dude
board.
is gonna say this place wigs me out. They're gonna say, yeah, man, like somebody totally like macheted like 4 kids in there one time, and
Yeah.
it's like that's why I'm scared to go in there. That's totally masculine.
So like the negative feeling towards it is manufactured by them, and I'm not trying to deconstruct anything, but this is also like the angels peering down into creation and wondering how salvation can happen, and they wonder. So this is our best tool that we have to prevent these rules from happening. or from being violated, and what else would you expect though for humanity at some point in time to be curious or to want to figure out what happened to their little girl, or to be the protector of the village thing, than to go and finally break it.
Well, I mean, at that point in time, they were also far more accepting of cosmic danger, I guess. Things
yeah.
came and snatched your kids,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
particularly little kids that didn't do what they were told. And as we all know, Mary was a cheater. And everybody knew that about her. She would cheat. And so they got her. We don't know who they was.
Mary goes home. She's been gone 7 years. She is not still a child. She is now a grown woman. What is she, 16? 15?
15, yeah.
15?
And everyone's already commenting on her Instagrammable appearance.
She's very, very beautiful. Andres, the first thing he says to her is, hey, I won.
Yeah. Hey, Slowpoke. Like, he's been holding on to that. You were so slow.
But he is very taken with her. And because he's the neighbor's kid, he gets to marry her. She has a daughter that she names Elfrida, which
Elf.
it's not very hard to guess what it means.
Yeah, but the first time reading this type of story for the Germans, this was going to be a mind-blowing, like, oh wait, so
wait a minute.
Guys, you'll never guess who goes on an Odyssey. The guy named Odysseus. I'm just saying.
No, I think it was named that after. Hey guys, we're gonna go on a trip, and we're gonna name it after the only survivor. Okay. Okay.
It roughly means elf strength, or like magical powery strength. If you take elf to mean a little less elf and more mystical, but it's supposed to be elf, so
yeah.
She is a gifted and strange child. Mary thinks, yeah. Mary thinks that she resembles the elves, and she is right away destined for tragedy. Her grandma says, "Such wise children do not grow to age." So,
you lost your kid for 7 years and didn't even go looking for her, so don't tell me, Grandma.
Mary does seem to just walk through the door, and her parents are like, "Where have you been?"
She walks through the door, I'm just like, ah!
Serena comes out of the fairground to befriend Elfrida, and Mary spies on their play. She finds a knot in the wood in a shed, and she can see through it.
Yeah, they describe it as like a chink or a crack or something.
Yeah. Zarina is like, she catches on and sees Mary, but she's just kind of like, wink, keep the secret, right?
Yeah. Keep it safe.
Right. Mary is frustrated that people don't like the residents of the fairground.
Yeah, Andre is super racist. Like, he keeps harping on it. It's like, is there anything else to talk about? Now, I realize for 7 years you've been hanging on to one thing, so I know you don't have a whole lot going on. But literally, the only thing we're talking about is how much we hate the trailer park down the road. Like, there's nothing else.
So Mary finally tells him she wants him to understand that they are responsible for all of the bounty that they enjoy from their land.
I didn't get the contradiction here, because on the one hand, I'm told this place is kind of dark and dingy and kind of crud, and then on the other hand, it's but the crops grow so well here, and we're so blessed, and I'm like, which one is it? Because it's been described two different ways now, And I don't know if it was just like a comparison thing to try to make the Fae realm seem stronger than, the natural world or whatever. But it's like initially it started up being described as this place is so great, except for that shadowy place. And then she goes into the shadow and it's amazing and it makes everything else seem dark and drab and dingy and everything. And then she comes out and everything is still dark and drab and dingy because by comparison to where she came out of. But now I'm also supposed to still be thinking this place is blessed.
Well, it talks about how like there wasn't any ill wind. It was now February. The trees were budding earlier than usual. The nightingale had never come so soon. The spring rose fairer in the land than the oldest men could recollect it. And it goes on like that for like a paragraph and a half. And then it's like, beautiful as all that lay around her was, she knew of something yet more beautiful. And from the remembrance of this, a faint regret attuned her nature to soft melancholy. So I think
This is nice, but not as good as it could be.
Right. Just a perfect year for people who live off land. And the next year was like it. It's like
we're doing pretty
it
good.
Could be better.
Still sucks for Mary though. I was talking to a couple of really young authors. They hadn't done a book or anything yet. They were like still in college, and one was freshly married. And they both said the same thing when I asked them, because they were part of a coaching group that I was doing. I asked them, what do you want to do for your audience? Like, what is it you're trying to contribute to them? And they both said the same thing. I want everyone to be the best version of themselves. I'm like, so you look at people and say, you suck. You could be better. They're like, kinda.
Mary feels like she has lost something, even though she is currently enjoying a lot of blessings. And she is frustrated by her husband's criticism of the people who allowed her to have that initial experience and continue to be the benefactors.
I just hate it when some stupid man talks mad junk about stuff he knows not of. Like he's been, and she cracked. Like it took how long? It was like 10 years or so of mansplaining until she just couldn't take it anymore. And she let him have it.
And he didn't believe her. So she shows him Elfrida and Zarina playing. And of course, they get caught.
Yep. Gasp.
And then Zarina gets mad and
really
leaves.
Mad.
It's not a funny, oh, you were watching us. Don't tell. It's like hey, you broke the rules.
Yep.
Zarina just throwing stuff inside of the fairy.
Well, have you ever moved
gotta
before?
move again.
Do you understand what it would take to move the entire elf kingdom? I mean,
overnight.
a lot of boxes.
Overnight.
Do you have any idea what this is gonna do?
Time moves differently there. It's a lot more stressful.
The dwarf slaves are gonna be so mad. They're gonna carry the mines out.
So they leave. And everything fades.
Everything.
Yes,
Everyone.
literally everything. Elfrida dies. And then Mary dies a few years later. They both sort of just fade away.
Die.
Yeah, literally fade away.
Yeah.
And then the men pack up and leave.
Freaking men.
Including the Lord.
Yes, he leaves first. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out.
Yep. Leaves his castle.
Contributed very little. But he's like, meh. This place sucks.
I had to chuckle when it was like, yeah, the last sentence of the story. Old Martin, with his son-in-law, returned to the quarter where he had lived before. That's the end of the story.
Martin Andre, like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
The women died because they were weak or something. There was this weird elf stuff she was spewing one day. Everything sucked after that. I blame the trailer park.
And for once you'd be right.
Yeah. So the moral of this story is, people, you need your trailer park.
They were 13% of the forest, but 50% of the bounty.
You must never go there, Simba.
I thought it was interesting that Anderson specifically pointed out the dangers of Faerie here for this story, as opposed to like the Golden Age myth, which seemed to me like the stronger connection to Tolkien's own work. As far as Faerie goes, these people are pretty benevolent. Like, Mary isn't preyed upon. Zarina seems to be a genuine friend. They all seem to care about her well-being. I mean, as far as elves can care about a human child.
Whoa, guys, she
like,
looks scared.
Let's take the trees back down.
Let's not spring her into the stratosphere anymore.
She's not Rip Van Winkle, right? Like,
right.
She comes back and is able to have in time to have a family, and like these are things that she didn't miss out on. It just seems like, yes, danger, but it's more of a clash of cultures than like.
So there was one clearly superior culture.
And anything strictly malevolent is what I meant. Like you get other stories about people interacting with Faerie, and things do not go this well.
Yeah, but they were happy to bless her with what they had, which kind of felt like a Christian ethic, because that's not a normal old German idea in storytelling. The old idea in German storytelling is don't go in the woods. There's stuff in there that will freaking eat you and you won't die. This, on the other hand, was you can encounter the transcendent and come out better for it, but always realize the rules. Know the rules, because the rules are different there than it is here. Now, they would have known what the rules were here. It was, at this time in Germany, was do what the church tells you. You know, do what the Lord tells you. It was very simple to know what it was you were supposed to do. And you had a certain range of decision making you could do within that space. But in the Faerie realm, it was like complete freedom, but really hard and fast rules. Okay? Don't talk about Elf Fight Club. Okay? You talk about Elf Fight Club goes away. And you all die. Like Wither. And they didn't really explain why that was the case. It was just the rule. There was, I think there was once they kind of mentioned maybe a threat to the Fae from humanity.
It seemed like that was part of their explanation.
I mean, honestly, I would love to see a fight between like German infantry and sprungen trees. Like that would. I feel like fire sprites versus, a shield wall would be totally cool. To like the mystical realms, it's more the knowledge of them is dangerous. And the more there is knowledge of us, the more danger there is to us. Like they can't see the king. Right? Well, why can't you see the king? I don't know. You just can't see the king. Like under no circumstances. And there was a description of him given that was very close to the description in Revelation of Christ on the horse. So I got the same vibes out of it.
I think they're also coming from literally two different worlds. Because with humanity, right, part of it is like coming to the fullness of faith, coming to understand that you're in a hierarchy, but also that hierarchy changes once you have your kind of full realization of self, as in like your adoption rather than I was born into it. But so and we do that by studying the heavens and seeing that they declare the glory of God. We do that through our logic and determining understanding. We do that through our laws and customs and societies and building up. And then we are in the garden and expand the garden. And so we plant seed here and it goes out a little farther and go. With the elves, or maybe the angels, if there's a direct comparison there, theirs isn't to know, theirs is to serve, and there the rules are to follow in the order, and when the order is broken, there are immediate repercussions. The fall, or once the fall occurs, then there's no more falling. There's just the fallen and the held to the end. And so the nature of the question for humanity coming into that realm is to figure out, ooh, what's that thing? When I push this button, what does it do? The big button that says do not push.
Yeah.
The apple or the pomegranates that say do not eat. Ooh, maybe I can eat this. But the elves the elves society isn't there to make their community ask those questions. Theirs is to maintain and grow and to bless the world that they're a part of, but not quite a part of.
Yeah.
So,
They said, didn't they give a reason for why they were there? They said, because we like it here. You know, we like being here and we like doing this for everyone. Being around us makes you better.
yeah. And
so it was introverts versus extroverts. Okay. The introverts were like, don't talk about us. Like, we can handle one of you.
yeah.
All one.
Other than that, leave
Once
us
you get
alone.
too big, you're out.
Our world is better. Okay.
True.
I thought, like, obviously, there's a lot of dealing with loss. You know, she can't really go back to Faerie, and what she experienced there, she misses. And then, of course, she loses her child. I feel like there's almost an element of regret or like grief that sort of poisons the joys of the present. Like, she's not able to enjoy the like blessing that the king being there is giving
because
their
she
land.
had the sense, her senses were overloaded.
Yeah.
Like, once your threshold has been pushed to a certain point, like, this dosage doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah. She has a child who resembles the elves, who were very, very beautiful children. Like, and she is someone who is skilled. Like, she can do a lot of things very, very quickly. And she's almost not able to enjoy her either. I don't know that there's any point to it. It was like it just avalanched. It kept being lost upon, and then
Well, again, it's German, so it's going to be depressing. Okay.
Well, so
because it's kind of the way their brains work, though. It's like, because philosophically to them, a taste of heaven would be absolute poison if you still had to live on Earth.
Sure.
This does go back to Greek philosophy, though. This is Plato's cave analogy. This is the being taken off the wall and put out in the sunlight, and then having to go back in the cave, and your eyes don't work as well because now you've grown accustomed to the light.
Yeah,
and
you're not
when
a
you
cave
tell other
person
people
anymore.
about the big light outside, well, they look at you as another and now weaker because you can't see in the cave that they've grown accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the question that you ask after the fact was it good for the man to go off the cave, knowing that he knows now and that he's trying to share it with people, because that's what we do in the Padilla and to be the full man of our education, and we kind of want to share it with other people. We live in community, and that's it's not knowledge for the sake of knowledge. And this one is kind of saying, well, no, you have to exist with kind of this knowledge. The thing that they don't explore is Mary and her daughter do share a little bit of the story of like, oh, I met the elves, and she's like, quiet, don't tell anyone. Well, they could have had a bond there that it doesn't seem like that broke the rule, because they both crossed over to the side and had
A
that.
German parent having a bond with their kid.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of like Peter Pan, because like Wendy's mother seems to have a relationship with Peter, and then clearly at the end of Peter Pan, spoilers for a 120-year-old book, is that Wendy's daughter does the same thing as well, but no one ever really talks about it. It's almost like it's so special. It's kind of your story, and then if I do more than just maybe hit the edges a little bit, then I'm encroaching upon your experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like Mary was cursed through the experience that she had. And it wasn't a bad curse, but she was cursed because it was suddenly, hey, you had this great time. You can't tell anybody about it. And you can never come back. And you're just going to have some man mansplaining it to you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but he's thinner and more handsome now, so.
But he's less active.
Trade-offs.
But the burden of the knowledge of the divine, I guess. Having seen the beauty beyond our world and how much better it could be for some reason, and then just not ever being able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't ever, the Fae never even did explain why Mary could visit and see everything, but then no one else could.
Well, I think they could. Like the Watchman seems to manipulate, but they're not there to stab at people. It seems like if you did have the portents to cross the bridge or the get past the white dog, that
if you think you can make it past the dog, you can visit.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe she earned entrance through courage or some kind of human virtue.
I really think she just kind of stumbled upon it. It's
well, the rule isn't consistent though.
She sort of overcame that.
And I mean, what
barrier, and it was not like it wasn't like they were guarding the edge to prevent entry.
Well, they commented on seeing her. They're like, we like watching you. You seem like you have a lot of fun. You do a lot of running around, and you have what they say, lively temper.
Lively temper, yeah, something like that.
You seem cool. You can come hang with us for 7 years, but then you're leaving. It was an interesting story.
Yeah.
When I finished I did not enjoy the story. It's not my style. It gives a lot of things as givens. There's a lot of rules in this story. And I like stories where you can break the rules, where you can fight the rules, or one of the characters is breaking the rules. This was, you break the rules and there are immediate drastic consequences on which you will wither on the vine and drop off, and men will move on without you. Like, you will be forgotten. So it wasn't a story I enjoyed.
Jonathan prefers if somehow a Marine gets into hell and can kill demons there.
Adapt, overcome, improvise.
Yeah, exactly. Regroup. Oh, I have a shotgun. Well, that's just optimal.
Do we see, other than the fact that obviously they're elves, are there elements that we see Tolkien using?
So Tolkien depicts the elves as like in their preservation of their realms, doing something that's just doomed to failure.
Okay, which era of Tolkien are we talking here? Because Silmarillion elves are extremely different from Lord of the Rings elves.
So maybe this is mostly Lord of the Rings, but
or Hobbit even. I mean, because Hobbit feels the closest to this in terms of style.
Sure, but like I'm talking about the way that their realms are.
Yeah.
Being preserved with magic, right? The rings.
Well, Lothlorien, they would just shoot you. Like they weren't playing around with no, hey, you're gonna feel creeped out a little bit. No, you're gonna get shot.
Patrick, back me up here.
Well, yeah, especially I found the fading aspect to it. Like Tolkien uses that a lot with the kind of the light going out, and especially when it seems like the age of man is more prevalent and more coming into the areas,
and the elves fade.
and they go away, and kind of that special nature, the pre-fall aspect.
Yeah, well,
that I'm sure.
Tolkien treats the elves as in Lord of the Rings. He treats them as relics of the pre-fallen world,
Mhm.
and they were always used to hold back darkness. Elven relics, elven lore, elven armies, elven heroes. They were always there to hold back the cosmic darkness. Because I see no evidence in the Silmarillion that men ever held back Morgoth. Men only ever confronted Sauron. It was the elves' job to take on Morgoth, and that took everything the elves had. Taking on Morgoth broke the elves, and that's when they retreated into this preservation. You've got Rivendell, you've got, the Second Amendment elves in Lothlorien, you've got, you know, uh, this area over here. You've got the what's it called? The docks, the havens, and they just maintain at that point, and they're not really sure what they're doing anymore. They're just hanging out until they're like, let's just go.
Well, they loved Middle Earth,
Right.
but they wanted it to stay the same.
And Galadriel clearly had lots of love interests in Middle Earth too. Like,
Stop it.
oh man, poor Celeborn. Anyway, but when the way Tolkien treated elves was relics of older, better times, stronger times, more light, more darkness, but more light. And this story kind of does that too. It harkens back to an untouched, unsullied garden that was protected. There was a watchman over that garden. There were rules in that garden that felt pretty, like, why is this the rule? Like, it's not don't kill each other. I mean, clothes weren't a rule, for crying out loud. It was don't eat from this tree. I kind of get the same vibe coming from like the perspective on these transcendent or different cultures that would be considered above men somehow. Or in case of Tolkien's elves, they used to be above men, but now it's men's time. I don't know if Tolkien drew inspiration from this. Even
Yeah.
in the initial description, the guy was like, yeah, Tolkien read this stuff, and this is clearly the best one, so this is probably his, I was like, that was a leap.
He could have read it, maybe.
I get it if he did, if it contributed to his works. I kind of understand that. In Middle Earth, there are barriers to entry for humans into Elven realms. So there are barriers to entry to the unworthy, but the worthy can always pass. And in those stories, we only follow the worthy. We don't follow the unworthy. And I appreciate the arguments that the elves have among themselves as to whether men are worthy. I think it adds a lot of value to the world building and to the culture, because now we're seeing from an alien perspective.
Mhm.
It's a different perspective. Well, yeah, most stories assume humanity is worth saving.
Mhm.
The hero his sacrifice is always justified because humanity is worth saving. It's a given. Elves are like,
But it makes you as the reader want to have that argument. Like Star Trek does that, Babylon 5 does that, Mass Effect does that with humanity has an it factor, and there's a whole bunch of alien guys that want to say no, they're barbaric people, but they're interesting, or they have imagination, or they should have killed themselves a long while ago, and maybe they're worth being preserved. And usually there's the one in it. Babylon 5 has that for sure. But you kind of want to play with that
right.
that argumentation.
Well, the Matrix kind of does that to some degree too.
I think so.
Where
Well, I think it's much more prevalent of a question in sci-fi for sure.
yeah, is humanity worth saving? Like when you encounter the transcendent, should humanity survive the contact?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the start and end of TNG with the Q.
Yeah.
We were interesting.
Yeah. I always really liked the Q episodes
Me
because
too.
he always brings that question up. You're not worth it. You aren't. And then Picard is like, screw you. Yes, I am. But when you're looking at that particular premise, is humanity worth saving? That's something humans think about. Am I worth saving? And a lot of times they will say, no, I'm not worth saving because humanity isn't worth saving. Like that's the premise of Age of Ultron, where Ultron ingests the internet and is like, nope, humanity's got to go. And half the people online were like, yep, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth Element kind of does that as well.
Yeah. It's
You get to the W and you get to war, and all of a sudden Lilo all of a sudden hates everybody.
yeah. It's definitely a darker form of storytelling when you get to that question, because it's a philosophical discussion every time you get there. Is humanity worth saving? And then we have the answer because Jesus already answered it. Because he said, yes, I'm going to save you. The question is never asked of him, you are worth saving or you deserve salvation. He doesn't ever bring it up. He just says, I'm saving you. And so it makes the question of is humanity worth saving pointless because he never brings it up.
Well, he's the only one who can answer the question because he's the only one who could do it.
But there's the idea that we ask the wrong questions, right? And that's really shown in the book of Job.
I was going to say, Job
Yeah.
is the one. Yeah.
Because Job is like, if Job spends the entire book of Job going, get off my back, you dweebs. And then God shows up and Job is like, why? God is like, here's who I am. The switch in topic is Job, you're not the main character, which feels weird in a book called Job. But Job isn't the main character. Job is the arena that the battle is fought in for our benefit. And one of the most important lessons I pull out of Job is I'm not the main character, which sucks because I'm in a first-person POV as a side character, as a quest giver sometimes. Am I here just to give XP to people?
It was the old man in the cave that gives Link the sword.
No, I think I'm one of the freaking level 1 crabs people farm on their way to better things.
And without that crab, they couldn't get to level 2.
We couldn't
And
get there, right? Like, who's going to save Azeroth if the level 1 crabs aren't there? But God changes the subject, which is you are not the main character. This is about me. And then he blesses him.
well, and then he also enters into the world the correct way by being both the fully man and fully God. Here in our story, the fully man person goes over to the other side,
To the divine,
in a way that was possible, but is inappropriate.
Still
again,
crippling.
And again, I think it's the looking back. It's the angels looking upon man and going, I don't understand it, but that's not my idea to understand. And my purpose is to serve. And so angels don't ask those questions because that's not their created purpose.
You really get that in the story of Zechariah when Gabriel comes to give Zechariah that John is going to be born. And John's like, well, how do I know it's going to happen? And Gabriel's like, oh, you're going to be dumb? Okay, you're going to be dumb.
Literally.
I'm Gabriel, okay? I came all the way from God to tell you this, and you're going to be dumb. Okay, so you're going to be dumb. Okay? A dumb.
And I like how it's like, he doesn't give him some great sign. It's like, you're just going to be dumb until it happens, and then
You know what? Just shut up. Just
And
shut
then
up.
say
Like
the
you
name.
should have in the first place. Just shut up.
Like, I'm not going to put all the dew on the fleece or all the dew on not the fleece.
I don't have time for that.
You're just going to not talk until it happens.
Which, I mean, angels are kind of just always shutting off our senses in one way, form, or another. I mean, the guys in Sodom and Gomorrah got blinded. Zechariah gets, his voice taken away. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that they have to say "fear not," because
That's
every
what
time
long
you show
COVID
up,
is.
something
Yeah.
bad happens.
yeah. Gabriel, I looked at I just taught through this for my girls for Christmas time in children's church, and he starts out saying "fear not," and then the tone switches to maybe fear a little more.
I'll give you
Okay,
something
guys,
to fear
stop
about.
saying it.
I do see our counterpoint in here as well with Lewis as like the piercing veil, where Aslan has a has a break off point for the kids, right? Like they become of such an age that the fairy tale won't work for them, or is not their story to learn from. And this one, and I happen to want to read what the next one was, because I'm currently reading The Princess and the Goblin with my girls for George MacDonald. So I wanted to kind of get what a short story version of his was. The next one feels very much like Lewis took from it. Lewis or John Bunyan is there. So I'll be interested to see what our take is for what Tolkien pulls out of this.
And all of a sudden, I understand why Tolkien wasn't thrilled with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because I didn't like
Lewis,
this. I didn't want to write the forward. Get out of my face.
Well, Lewis also told cautionary tales in the way that he spoke, because what did Jesus say when he taught? He said, "The kingdom of heaven, you must have the faith of a little child." And what does Aslan say? You get too old, you're not going to get this anymore. Where as a child, you just want wonder. You want to be in a place of wonder where there are talking beavers, where there are wolves that can chase you, where
you're going to follow Mr. Tumnus. And
you're going to follow Mr. Tumnus. You're going to have tea.
Yeah.
You're going to forget to grab the frickin' coats out of the wardrobe because you're an idiot kid. But the way he would teach it in the stories kind of puts in the child's head, don't grow up. Don't grow up like that. Don't grow up like this. Don't lose the wonder. Because you will.
Well, and the rules for the Narnia world are for them, and the rules for Benzenzi kids are for them. And there doesn't seem to be a reason for them crossing over other than it's within the sovereign will of Providence to cross these paths.
Well, the way the prophecy was structured, it was to give them dominion over this world. That children who were those that are the most susceptible to wonder still can appreciate what Aslan has made or what God has made, will sit on the thrones of Narnia and free it from someone who just wishes to suppress it and keep it from everyone and seal it away. Like the witch had no answer to the wardrobe. She had an answer to the lion, but she had no answer to the wardrobe. To see the vulnerability there. It's almost the same idea in The Witcher, and The Witcher is not, of course, not a Christian story at all. I say this all the time. Everything in The Witcher is prophesied. It's all like laid down by fate until you get to the Child of Surprise. And that's what screws everything up, because none of the prophesied things can handle the chaotic element of the Child of Surprise, because it's not in their rules. It's not in their prophecy. It's not in their scriptures. It's not how everything's supposed to be laid out. Suddenly the Child of Surprise shows up and screws up everything. And in the same way in Narnia, suddenly sons of Adam and daughters of Eve show back up in a place that she has locked down. So in Lewis's mythos, crossing over into the divine is to claim your purpose, to claim dominion, to claim lordship over the realm of wonder that God has set apart for you. And then in Tolkien's mythos, it was the time of men has come. Go take it. You got to go fight for it. And you're going to have to destroy a relic of darkness at the same time to someone who is so intrinsically good and also harmless that they can sustain the level of corruption this thing is feeding into them. Like, I love the scene where Sam picks up the ring and the ring is like, what the crap do I do with what I have right now? Like, you're going to be Super Gardener. What do I even say right now? Like, this kid has no ambition. Like, what is happening?
And Sam's like, there's no way I could keep a garden that big.
Such goofballer. Yeah, whatever, man. It's Super Gardener. But to look at their different outlooks based on the way they set up their worlds and the way the conflicts mix, and then to choose this story as one of the ones that possibly that was derived from, where mankind interacts with the divine or the pre-fallen, or even just the intent, like the pure intent. When God created the world, it was supposed to be a place of wonder like this. And how do we save it? Can we save it? And in both mythologies, you can. Not
Sure
in
you
this one,
can.
though. Not in this one.
Right.
No.
It's a short story.
In German fairyland, no.
No.
There's no catastrophe
9.
in this one.
Which is why I don't like this story. There is no possibility. And it's a sermon. It's not a story designed to be enjoyed. You know, it's a sermon. You're supposed to get something out of it.
I mean,
really, really lovely descriptions of flowers.
Yeah, and gloom.
Yeah, it sets you up for the and wither. The flowers are nice. Screw you.
I mean, it does follow though in the same lines as the Greeks and the Romans, who use their stories, their fiction, as tales to get something from it. Homer is pretty awesome in that he's writing probably from something, that actually happened, and whether you believe he's one or three people or blind or not blind, like he's still trying to teach a fractured Greek culture that is post-war, what it means to be post-war after the bloodshed. He's using that familiar story to then say, and now what? What do you want to what do you want to look like? And then everyone that came after him, for the playwrights, said, okay, what does our society look like? What does our justice system look like? Do we want to continue in the blood hunter, or do we want a jury system? What does that look like when we're wrong? Do we want to engage in vengeance upon vengeance, or do we want justice to be meted out? And they didn't have the Christian aspect in there yet to ask the questions of fate and free will and all those fun things that we get to ask post 70 AD. Or post Reformation. All
yeah,
those
back
things.
that I love the people that are like the early church never talked about this. Yeah, they were trying to live, you twit.
Right. Exactly.
They had other stuff to think
Exactly.
about.
Yeah.
They were wondering, is it okay if I buy the meat at the market that was sacrificed to idols? Because that's kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Should we even have kids? I feel like feeding kids to lions is at some point just feeding lions.
But stories to story. I mean, we consider them epics. We consider these things as, don't go out and eat the witch's strange house. But I mean, those were the
But you have to tell kids, okay?
You do have to tell kids.
You do need to tell kids.
Right.
Don't eat your neighbor's house.
If there's a house made of candy, do you think maybe there's something wrong with it? It's too good to be true. It probably
No, the
is.
house does not have to be made out of candy for my kids to try to take a bite out of it.
I always want to bring up indies. So we've talked some about Jonathan's books. I feel like I should plug The Fairy Tree by William Jeffrey Rankin in Periapsis Christmas. It's a short story, and there's some fairy in it. So there's a lot of wonder in it. It's a Christmas story, right? So there's shadows at the end, but nothing too dark. The Garden Maze by Isaac Anderson is a dark fairy tale. So that one.
Do they wither?
I shouldn't give away anything, but the other one that I should mention is The Governess of Greenmere by Paul Leon. The main character kind of goes to another world, and it's it's got layers to it. So, but
ooh, another world with layers.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention it in this context, I feel like. And I'm sure I'll mention all of these again every time we go to Faerie. So
Probably. I'll tell you, my story does not have any fairies or whimsy. It is another world with layers.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you have any favorite stories that have to do with the dangers of Faerie. You're welcome to join us in reading through Tales Before Tolkien. And we encourage you to check out any and all of the indie books that we've mentioned today.
Don't talk
Guys,
about Fight Club. I feel myself withering as we speak.
All right. Thank you guys, and everybody have a good night.